I said to the beautiful Gal Gadot Wonder Woman, I am sorry if I hurt you earlier, Diana. I hoped I helped you understand ki energy a little better. And I said I've never taught an Olympian ki energy before, and I said your powers could be limitless with ki energy. Diana, always remember these words I've said. It will give you incredible powers when you need it the most in your time of need. And I said once my powers were triggered by a need, not a desire, but a need to become stronger, to save the people I loved and cared about. I activated that need inside of me to get stronger. Always remember that this ki power is activated stronger by a need, not a desire, and with that you could activate your dormant ki energy. And I said always remember what I said and it will save you and those you love. And she said I will remember what you said. And I said good, I hope you do, and please train your ki energy every day, it will help you. And she said you have been using this power for a very long time, haven't you? And then I said I learned it in a distant universe. You could say that I learned a few techniques from another unique and powerful being that I'm very fond of. And she said, oh, who is this person you speak of? And I said he's a great man and his name is Son Goku. And she said I hope I meet him one day. And I said anything is possible, I suppose, and maybe I will meet him one day too. And Diana said you watched him from afar. And I said in a way yes, I can make myself invisible when I need to, and I'm a genius. If I see any fighting techniques I remember them forever. It's the perks of having a super brain that's also fueled by ki energy. And she said this ki energy must be very versatile. And then I heard up 2 fingers with a glowing purple ki blast, and then I threw it at a rock and then it disappeared. And then I said that's the unstoppable powers of ki energy. And she said incredible, you erased that rock, that's amazing. And I said that's only the beginning, Diana. And then I walked up to Diana and I healed her with my incredible ki based magic. And she said by the gods you have the powers to heal. The pain I felt earlier is gone and I feel stronger, thank you. And I said you will need to learn to control your strength because ki energy makes you break all your mortal limits faster than you think until one day you have no limits. That's what happened to me. I trained so hard I broke my mortal limiter and then I activated my limitless eyes and now I see everything so clearly. And she said your eyes, they are a beautiful blue, it's called limitless. With it I can see the in-between and I can see all atoms and molecules. I use this for teleportation and I can also absorb black holes with my powers, giving me even greater powers and energy. That's the powers of limitless. Especially if you're a god you can push this power to go beyond plus ultra. And I smiled big and she said you're a very interesting man, Bruce Wayne. And then I said I have lived many lifetimes and each one I live I come back stronger and I rise from the dead like the phoenix, and that's exactly what I am. And this time something is different. I've never been this strong, Diana. I know I'm invincible now and my powers are greater than they have ever been. I know I can change everything for the better, I can feel it. And then she said so should I get your phone number? And I said okay sure, and could I get yours too? And she said yes. And then we exchanged contact information and she said this is your mobile phone number, right? And I said yes ma'am it is. And is this yours? And then she called me and then I said hello and she said I would like to go on that date now please. And I said sure, gorgeous. And then I took her on a date to a nice restaurant and I acted like a true gentleman and I treated her like a lady and I took her to a few places to have fun and see the sights around the world and I showed her my incredible powers. And she said so ki energy could be limitless powers? And I said yes, but only exceptional individuals can truly master it. Those people that never give up, they're exceptional and there's something special about them and they are able to activate these dormant powers inside them much easier and multiply their powers a billion-fold. It's like they have the power of a billion exploding suns, kinda like me. And I mean that's pretty much what I am. And she said do you have power over time? And I said what do you mean, Diana? And she asked me can you manipulate time? And I said Diana, manipulating time and destiny has serious consequences. You must understand there are fixed points in time that could never be changed. I need you to understand this, okay? And she said I think I understand. And I said I'm sorry, but there's some things you just can't change. Some choices are made for a reason, to save everyone or to doom everyone or to save a world or to destroy it. Do you understand what I mean? That's why there's fixed points in time to protect the future and it's designed to change. It is to kill everyone.